welcome to Yesterday, Today, Tomorrow. My name is Mariana Cordier, and I am your host. I am coming to you from my home via Zoom. Today, we are going to highlight and discuss the importance of parks and recreation and their programs in our community. Joining me today for this discussion is Anthony Nolan. He's the Chief of Special Programs Division, the Maryland Capital Park and Planning Commission, that's a mouthful, and the Department of Parks and Recreation for Prince George's County. I also have Natalie Fanny Gonzalez, a commissioner of the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission and a member of the Montgomery County Planning Board. I also have Tia B. Rutherford, Department of Environment, and she is the Litter Reduction Program Manager. I am so excited to have you guys. Thank you for joining me on today to talk about our parks. They're so important. I want to start with you, Anthony, because, I think that the pandemic highlighted for the community the importance of parks. What do you think?
Yes, with the shutdown back in last year in March, we shut down all of our facilities for a short while, but the department made a real strong effort to start reopening, especially focusing on outdoor recreation. Our trails always remained open. We did shut down our playgrounds for a short while, but then those were reopened. We have hundreds of small neighborhood and community parks. So those were available to folks to take advantage of. Then we opened up our golf courses. Obviously, all of this is our facilities were at a lower capacity than they could normally take. But then our tennis courts are, originally we took down all the basketball rims. We put those back up. Our outdoor tennis courts were opened up again. But what we've seen anecdotally, and we do have some trail counters, but the use of our trails exploded over the summer. People just were taking advantage of all the facilities that we had available. And I think one of the great things to come out of the pandemic is the fact that people have now learned that we are here. I've heard so many times, oh, I didn't realize this was here. I didn't realize this was in our neighborhood. Folks just would drive by and never take advantage of it. And so this has been a great opportunity. We really have wonderful facilities in both Prince George's and Montgomery counties. And there's a huge trail link that links us both along the Anacostia watershed. So that's been the positive thing. The other positive thing is with some of our facilities continuing to be closed, we had to pivot and provide additional services. One of the things that we do during normal times is we partner with the Department of Family Services to offer nutrition for seniors. Well, we continued that program. They continued that program, but then they also expanded it to provide meal distribution for seniors. So we've literally provided hundreds of thousands of meals over the last, I'd say, 8 months. And then we've also worked with other partners, Capital Area Food Bank, on another partnership where we've normally provided summer nutrition at our day camps. Since those were all shut down, unfortunately just could not get them to run. That was another way for us to continue to provide services to the citizens of Prince George's County. And then we kind of bumped it up. One of the things that we do on a regular basis is recreation. And so we felt like with all these kids at home, all these youth really having nothing structured to do, we figured we have discretionary funding. We have a Parks and Recreation warehouse stuffed full of all sorts of activities for youth. And so we started putting together activity bags. So grab and go play. We did a grab and go chalk art festival. We've done book distributions, these kits would contain soccer balls, coloring books, activity books, Uno cards, jump rope, just a host of different things, jacks. So to keep the kids entertained and give them a break, during the summer.
Well, that's awesome. And Natalie, I wanted to ask you, because being on the planning board, you know, part of the whole exercise is taking into consideration that parks and recreation is a lot more than just the physical parks.
Exactly. It's way more than that. It's our parkland. It's also people going out on the trails just to see the birds, you know? Something as simple as that, it's very meaningful, and the impact that it has in your mental health. But I do want to emphasize that I love having Anthony here, because a lot of people don't know, but the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission is a bi-county commission between Prince George's County and Montgomery County. So here in your show, you have the two of us, and we do a lot of similar work. We coordinate a lot, especially if you live in places. I used to live in Langley Park when I moved to the United States. Like that's like the mecca of the immigrant community. So when you live in Langley Park, which is in Prince George's County, or Long Branch, which is in Montgomery County, you see no borders. Like it's the entire region. I was living in Langley Park, and you seen, you know, the trails in Long Branch. So we try to have that type of coordination, because at the end of the day, we just want people out, enjoying the outdoors, having a great time, a healthy time. And I think this pandemic, if you can see it in a positive way, which is really hard to say, but is the fact that people are like going out even during the winter. If I go out on the trails, which I do every single weekend, you see a lot of people out more than previous winters. People are getting used to being out because they know it's healthy and it's free. I'll go like this because it's, you know, we're using our taxes to pay for it. But those are amenities that are key and makes this region unique compared to other places around the nation.
Well, and I'm sure the audience didn't know, or maybe they're smarter than me, they didn't know, but I didn't know that, you know, it included, you know, distributing and helping to distribute meals, like for the kids too. That, you know, the schools are not in session. And so that, you know, Anthony had mentioned that, you know, they had a program of making meals available for the kids too. And I'm assuming Montgomery County does that as well.
Well, we don't have, in Montgomery County, the recreational department is within the executive, is not with park and planning.
Oh, okay.
Prince George's County, they have the rec department, so it's one of our differences. But we do have vegetable gardens, for example, where we distribute food, and we do cooperate with the school system as much as they need to make sure that in these critical times, we are all coordinating and helping each other.
So I know we're all talking about how beautiful the parks are, Tia, but you're the main man to say, keep it clean, right?
I am the main woman to say.
Oh, I'm sorry, the main woman.
And, you know, it's been a challenge for us as a county with more people at home. We're doing home improvements. We're cleaning out garages and attics. And we're not real sure where to take those items. And oftentimes we're finding them in places they shouldn't be. But I want you to, you know, understand in Prince George's County, we're cracking down on that. Our intention is to work with our residents as well as our visitors to keep Prince George's County clean and beautiful. And so, you know, recycling is increasing. For a time there, bulky trash was not being picked up, but it has now resumed their schedule. So you are able to call County Click 311 in Prince George's County and make an appointment for your bulky items to be picked up. You can always really start working really hard at home on your recycling. Because we're spending so much time at home, we're consuming more food than we probably want to, be it potato chips, sodas, juices, what have you, that's consoling us all. A lot of those items are recyclables. So really cracking down and getting yourself into a habit, right? It takes 21 days to establish a new habit of how to recycle and increasing your recycling. But as you're out recreating in the trail system in either Montgomery County or in Prince George's County, you know, the facilities are there for you to use. The trash can is there, the recycle bin is there. We're asking that you keep those trails clean and clear of any debris. And we have to have the understanding that anytime a piece of litter or misplaced recyclable is left on the ground, it ends up in a stream in either one of these counties that will ultimately end up in the Anacostia River watershed or the Chesapeake Bay. And that inhibits the wildlife in all of those water bodies, as well as our consumption or our ability to consume as many crabs as we like during the summertime.
Well, and it's funny because I don't think people mean to litter or do it necessarily with the thought of, oh, this is going to kill, I don't know how many crabs, or, contaminate, the water, or, have a negative effect. But the effect it has is huge, right?
It is huge. And we see that annually when we do trash counts. We can see how many plastic bags are being misplaced, aluminum cans, plastic bottles, takeout containers, you name it. When trash counts are being conducted in either Prince George's County or Montgomery County, we're absolutely seeing how that misplaced trash and recycling is impacting our water bodies and therefore our counties and our livability of both communities. Litter is, we look at it and we say, oh, this little piece of gum paper won't hurt, or this little piece of gum won't hurt, or this straw won't hurt. Oh, don't worry about that balloon. It'll pop. Don't worry about it. Those kinds of things absolutely are impacting our livability and quality of life in our respective communities, as well as the stream and aquatic life, our aquarian life, our birds, you name it. It is having an impact. And it ultimately is greenhouse gases. I mean, you name it. It's just cyclical when you look at what misplaced recyclables and trash do to our communities and our environment.
Anthony, you had mentioned when we had spoken before the show, the beauty of the Patuxent River. I know we are always talking about generally in the area of the Potomac River and the Chesapeake Bay, but the Patuxent River is wonderful. Can you tell us more about it and the importance of keeping it clean?
Sure. So again, there's two great things that also tie Montgomery and Prince George's County together. The Anacostia watershed is one, because that all feeds up into Montgomery County. And then the other one is the Patuxent River. It forms the northern boundary and the eastern boundary of northern boundary of Montgomery County and the eastern boundary of Prince George's County. And so, and all of those flow into the Chesapeake Bay. We've worked extensively with TIA and the Department of Environment on a number of initiatives to try to reduce litter. But in looking at some of the beauty of Prince George's County, I would say that Patuxent River Park, which is on the eastern, it's about the middle of the county, is one of the jewels of our park system. It is just stunning, and it's an amazing natural resource on top of everything else. But it's also a great recreation area. There's miles of trails. We have boat launches. We have kayak and canoe rentals when available. People bike, walk, hike, camp. We have campgrounds that are open, so you can take advantage of that. And some really
that's
amazing.
Kind of a really good point. If you're worried about going to a hotel, going to a campground is the alternative. You're in your own tent or your camper or whatever it is that you use. I'm not a camper, so I don't know the lingo, but but it's a great thing. You don't have to go so very far.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And, again, but, with that wonderful, wonderful resource, there comes a lot of responsibilities. We do try to manage, obviously, for litter, but also invasive species. Montgomery County has a really well-established weed warrior program that is gets people outside, gets them helping to contribute and make a huge difference in our natural resources and our local habitats.
So Natalie, what is this program?
Weed warriors. We teach you how to identify, all the plants that you see out there. Not all of them are healthy for the rest of the good plants that we want to keep. So we teach you which ones are not the good ones, so we can get rid of them. So people meet on weekends and just to focus on that, getting all those weeds out of our park system. So it's also a great way to connect and have more friends. But I wanted to emphasize one thing though. I think we all have a personal responsibility to fight climate change. And there is nothing small that you can do. Like even things are small as not buying plastic bottles. If you go to our playgrounds or trails, bring your own water bottle, things like that actually make a huge difference because you're taking something with you and you're leaving with it. You're not leaving it on the floor. So that's one thing, being mindful of that we can all make a difference to fight climate change because it's real, right? So.
When I grew up in Maryland, I realized when they started really enforcing the litter tickets, the litter fines, how much of an impact it had. Tia, what programs do you guys have that is similar to that you're seeing that's having a big impact, that people are really paying attention to that?
So I believe the fines are going to be life-changing for us in Prince George's County. The more fines and the more opportunity we have to catch those persons who are doing illegal dumping, we're going to see attitudes and behaviors change. We would really like to see it change without having to institute fines and expend tax dollars trying to catch the environmental criminal. And so education is a big piece for us in Prince George's County, either through our public schools. We still have the ability to impact students, albeit not being able to go into their classrooms. The Zoom communication seems to have been helping us as well to educate students, and then they can educate their parents on how to be better environmental stewards. And so education is a big piece. When those fines started, the amount or the ability to recycle as much as we can today didn't exist then. And so we have the ability to recycle so much more. And, unfortunately in Prince George's County, if you're still getting that point of purchase plastic bag, there are retailers that will accept it back from you. I was just in Target over the weekend and I was able to bring back plastic bags. I personally have my own shopping bags, but for persons who are interested in saying, I don't really need a plastic bag at home, I don't need to line a trash can with it, because I can teach you how to really take a look at what's going in your trash. So you could say, you know what, I don't need to line my trash can because of what's going in it. I can put that right into one main bag in the house and that can go outside to the larger dumpster that's collected at the street. But you can recycle your plastic bags. Target accepts them. Your cardboard, your plastic bottles, glass bottles, other recyclable materials are accepted in our single stream recycling at home and picked up from your home on a weekly basis. And so again, behavior change is going to be the thing that's going to help us. We in Prince George's County, we've rolled out the Big Belly Solar program. So you'll see riding through our jurisdiction, you'll see a number of dual systems. And that is one side is a trash can, one side is a recycle bin. And so if you're standing at a bus stop in Prince George's County, you may have the opportunity to recycle and or place your trash in a system that will accept so much more than those trash cans of yesteryear.
Oh, that's so smart. And it also makes it so easy to start getting people used to doing that, although they should already be used to doing that.
Yeah.
Anthony, you wanted to say something, I think, that Natalie was talking about. I'm not ignoring you.
Yeah, no, that's okay. So just 2 points real quick. Again, we've worked with Tia on a number of initiatives. One is Good Neighbor Day, where we partner with the University of Maryland College Park and the City of College Park. And this past year, we were only able to have maybe 50 people come out because of socially distanced requirements. But the year before, we had 900 people come out and volunteer to do a wide range of conservation projects, including litter pickup. And during normal operations, we are one of the largest providers of activities, for students to earn continuing education and
Service hours?
Service
The
hours.
service hours?
Yes.
service hours. And so one of the things is it's not just the activity and helping to clean up the environment, but they get a better sense of, oh, the impact. And so they go home with a different mindset than when they showed up on the site. 2 hours of work in and of itself is not going to make a huge impact on the environment, but those 2 hours in their experience, it could be life-changing. And so those are the type of things that we also look to work with. And both Montgomery and Prince George's County have a very strong sustainability policy, and we're working really, really diligently on trying to make our own operations even better and having a less of an impact on the environment with a focus on reducing our carbon footprint. I know in Prince George's County, we have worked with a partner to install a solar field at our maintenance yard. So it doesn't take away from recreational opportunities. It's at a maintenance yard, it's a secure location, it's out of sight, out of mind, but it's providing over 3 megawatts of power, solar power. And I know Montgomery County also has 2 major installations as well at parks. And those are, just hopefully just the beginning. We have a long range plan to increase those. And then just a small one, the trails, going back to the trails. One of the great things about trails is, one, it's self-directed recreation. So people can just take advantage of it whenever they want to. But the other part is we've continued to grow our network, both into Montgomery County, across county lines, but also going south along the Anacostia into Washington, D.C. So you could actually jump on the bike in Wheaton and ride all the way to Nat Stadium if you wanted to, on a trail with only a couple of at-grade crossings. So, when you start connecting all of those pieces, then the entire community expands, because, especially with bike riders, the longer you can ride, the better. So you get more and more usage. And so that's always been a really great amenity. And we're also trying to be mindful of providing additional amenities in areas that have probably been neglected in the past. So one of the big projects that we're working on, which is a very difficult one, is the Central Avenue Trail Corridor. So we're trying to, again, connect Washington, D.C. all the way out to the new medical center in Largo. And I think that would be a huge addition to our system. It links the medical center, a lot of new development right there at Hampton Park, 2 metro stations, 3 actually. And so there's all these interconnections that I really think would make a much better community overall. And takes people off the road. If you can jump on a bike and go have fun, you don't need to take them to college.
You're making me feel like I should be thinner than I am because I've been walking the dog more and going to the parks, but somehow I don't know. But Natalie, what about you? There was something you wanted to say?
I would say that, and it's just following up on the issue with bicycles. One of the things that we're trying to do, and we're doing in Montgomery County, is making sure not only that you have a safe place to ride your bike with bicycle protected lanes, for example, but also places where you can park and leave your bike. So we're installing more bike racks, for example, in our local parks. So if we really want you to ride your bike to a local park instead of driving, then we need to make sure that you can safely leave your bike there. So that's another initiative that we're working on, and that I'm actually very proud of. And another highlight would be, our new headquarters in Wheaton, Maryland. Is a geothermal facility. It's the first geothermal facility publicly owned in the state. So it's also a really, a big deal, and it speaks a lot about our commitment to fight climate change.
So for those of us who don't know what the geothermal, what is that?
We are making energy, honey. That's what we're doing. We're trying to do, we have, it's an amazing structure. We're basically using natural resources to create our own. And besides that, we have the solar panels that were mentioned before, but you're tackling the issue in so many different angles. Things that we can do with our own structures, but also things that the individual can do, like, riding your bike, bring your own water bottle, as we mentioned before, that they sound simple, but they actually make a huge difference. And it's all about education, as it was also mentioned.
Well, and it's amazing the impact it's had on the environment. The fact that not everybody's driving to work and there's less of a carbon footprint, they see the results and the air quality has improved. And so, it definitely has an impact. So I'm going to give Tia the last minute word that you want to leave with the audience. What do you have to say that you want everyone to remember? If nothing else, what should they remember?
If nothing else, the public should remember that they absolutely have the power to see their community, regardless to which jurisdiction they live in, clean and beautiful, by continuing to be mindful of where it is their recyclables and their trash ends up, keeping it in the car until you get home and disposing of it properly, using our park systems and making sure you're keeping those clean, but really being conscientious and aware of what litter does to your community, how it impacts it, and what you can do to keep it clean and beautiful.
Well, that is perfect. Very well said. And we're out of time. We're always running out of time. But I want to thank all of you for being on the show and giving our audience such great information. Everyone, don't forget, the parks are there. You can use them. You can, exercise and take your kids, family, just enjoy the air. Thank you for watching Yesterday, Today, Tomorrow. You can find us on Facebook and on YouTube as well. I'm Mariana Cordier. Until next time.